gestured for the chief whip to take the podium. The murmurs faded, leaving the air thick with anticipation. When the chief whip took his place at the front, he scanned the room, letting his gaze rest on each face. His expression was unreadable, but his sharp eyes and the tension in his jaw silenced anyone still brave enough to whisper. He reached into his coat pocket and unfolded a small, creased note. He took a slow breath and scanned the room once more. The lines on his face deepened, and there was a weight in his eyes that made everyone sit a little straighter. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice a low rumble that carried across the room, "a few minutes ago we received disturbing news." He paused, glancing down at the paper as if the words themselves were difficult to face. "It is with regret that I must inform you that, yesterday, around 2 a.m., we lost Honorable K. I think you all know him. He was the Member of Parliament for Latanda constituency, backyard of our beloved president." A few gasps slipped out. People glanced at each other, eyebrows raised, eyes wide. K, feared and respected politician, was gone, deleted from World Register forever. The room felt colder, each person suddenly more aware of their heartbeat. The chief whip's voice softened, and his eyes flickered with a hint of apprehension. "He was killed in his home, and we suspect it was an assassination. Some wordings were left on his chest. Sweeper was here. We are yet to establish the meaning behind this." The words hung heavy in the air, a palpable weight, pressing down on everyone present. He then looked around the room, his face etched with the seriousness of his message. "This information cannot be made public," he continued, his voice taking on a sharper edge. "An investigation is underway. For now, I urge each of you to keep this to yourselves. This is a matter of national security." For a brief moment, silence reigned. The enormity of what he had said settled in. K, a man at the heart of their inner circle, had been taken out. The silence broke into quiet, anxious murmurs as people exchanged uneasy glances, their minds racing with the implications of K's death. But Jack sat frozen, his face slack as a chill seeped into his bones. His mind raced, thoughts colliding, fragments of memories. The letter now felt like it was burning a hole in his pocket. His mind was screaming one thing: "I'm next." He swallowed hard, trying to keep his face composed, but a thin sheen of sweat glistened on his forehead. His hand trembled slightly as he reached for a glass of water. He couldn't afford to let anyone see his fear. Not here. Not now. His fingers clenched around the glass as he tried to take a calming sip, but his thoughts spiraled out of control, a flood of memories and dark deeds. Destroyed families, activists murdered, critics silenced, politics, my dirt game. He had orchestrated his fair share of evil, always from the shadows, always unseen. He was a man of means, a man of blood. He had let power corrupt his soul, but fill his banks. But now, with the looming specter of his demise, all those things seemed to blur, losing their meaning. His heart hammered as he barely registered the voices rising around him. It was the voice of Ms. J, the striking woman in the crimson suit. She had leaped to her feet, eyes blazing. "As very important government officials," she declared, her voice trembling slightly, "we need more security. Our lives are at risk. This should be declared as national disaster." A chorus of voices raised in agreement, each person's voice tinged with a mix of fear and desperation. The room broke into chaos, voices overlapping in a cacophony of shouted demands. Men and women alike spoke over one another, each concerned more for their own safety than for any unity they might have shared. People shifted in their seats, some standing, others shouting from across the room. The air pulsed with fear. Jack's breathing quickened as the noise swelled around him. He closed his eyes briefly, trying to control the rising panic. But his mind betrayed him, replaying the scenes from his past. Faces blurred in his memory, the lives he had cut short, all troubles, all woes he had caused countrywide. And now, Kay was dead. Once powerful and dangerous political mafia, but now dead. I am no exception. The letter? he recalled, and he felt sad. He hadn't dared to look at it yet, but he felt it pressing against his chest, heavy and suffocating, a reminder that someone out there knew the kind of man he was. Time is up, Baba Liam. His stomach twisted painfully as he remembered whispers, old alliances, and the lives he had terminated. I am evil, religious goon. The chief whip cleared his throat, cutting through the noise. His stern gaze swept over the room, demanding order. Slowly, the voices quieted, though tension still thickened the air. The chairman raised his hands in a motion to calm them all, his eyes on the chief whip as he took charge once more. This is no time to panic, the chief whip said, his deep voice steadier now. We are all public figures, businessmen, and, yes, there are risks associated with our jobs. But we must remember our duty to this nation and to each other. He paused, letting his gaze travel across each face. We will ensure adequate security measures. Your safety is paramount. Jack, barely hearing him, forced himself to take a deep breath, steeling his nerves. But the fear clawed at him, insistent, a reminder that he couldn't run from his past forever. Every glance he stole around the room felt like it could be his last, as though any one of them might be the next to meet a silent, bloody end. And in the back of his mind, one thought repeated, over and over, impossible to ignore. That son of a bitch is coming for us all. Get ready, bitches. Karma is knocking. Hours later, after the meeting, he made his way to his car, the sleek black sedan waiting just outside. The driver greeted him with a nod, then pulled into traffic, weaving through Nairobi's late-night streets. Jack stared out the window, his hand resting over the pocket with the letter. He hadn't opened it, not yet, but the weight of it felt heavier with each passing mile. His phone buzzed, breaking the silence. Have you read my message? The voice was distorted. The call was cut short. His hand tightened around the phone, his fingers trembling. Who is this? Are you the sweeper? Who the hell, goddammit? He was shouting. Silence. Then the line clicked dead. Heart pounding, he finally drew out the letter. His breath hitched as he unraveled the red thread and opened it, eyes scanning the words. Tick, tock, businessman. Tick, tock. He felt the blood drain from his face. Is everything all right, sir? His driver's eyes flicked to him in the rearview mirror. He swallowed hard, folding the note and shoving it back in his pocket. Fine, he whispered, though his hands were shaking. Nothing the matter. But he knew it was a lie, and he could almost feel eyes on him, watching, waiting, calculating, ready to bounce on him. He leaned back in his seat, eyes drifting to the cityscape beyond the car window. Nairobi sprawled out, alive and gleaming under the fading sun. Skyscrapers pierced the sky, their glass facades catching the golden light, casting long shadows over the crowded streets. Traffic flowed steadily down Moi Avenue, weaving through the city's pulse. The streets, bustling with life, seemed to glow with the last light of the day. He watched the scene with an odd calm. Anyway, he thought, I'm a good man. After all, sweeper's after those stupid, corrupt politicians. Not me. He tightened his grip on the armrest, a bead of sweat forming despite his forced calm. He looked out at the sunset, letting the warm, golden rays cast over the streets. For a moment, he let it feel like hope, like he had nothing to worry about.